So welcome to this incredible transformation. In this session, we're going to be releasing trapped emotions. And the way that we're going to do that is actually release old relationships, because emotions can get stuck in our body. Emotions are energy in motion. And what happens is they tend to cycle, they go through our body, and we're supposed to release them. And that's how it works in nature. That's how we're programmed to release and work with emotions. And emotions have a purpose. The anger protects us. The fear keeps us safe. The happiness keeps us smiling. And different emotions have a different meaning, a different structure, a different purpose. But the only problem is that when they get stuck in the system, that's when it can cause a blockage. That's when it can cause the disease. And that's when it causes health problems. And that's what we want to release, because we don't want to cycle into that trapped emotion. Trapped emotions can be stored in different areas of the body. And the idea is, through this meditation, through this session, through these activations, we want to be able to release those trapped emotions so that we can come back into flow, because that's how we were meant to be. So, for example, when an antelope is being chased by a lion and it's running for its life, and the lion's chasing it, and this antelope is scared, it's angry, it's frustrated, it's whatever emotions are going through the antelope's mind as it's running for its life, it will experience all those emotions. And then the lion goes and catches another antelope, or disappears, or gives up, or something like that. And what will happen is the antelope will literally just shake. It will just shake off all the emotions, all the fear, everything that it was experiencing. And then it goes back to its baseline. And then it goes and grazes again as if nothing had happened. And so that's the process that emotions are supposed to take. The problem with humans is we've got this bit where we overthink it, we overanalyze it, we think our way through it, and we tend to overthink those emotions and continue to trap them in our body. So maybe somebody made you angry, and then you relive it again, and that person made me angry, and that person made, and you tend to cycle through that experience again and again and again. And that's what holds the emotion in. So, for example, anxiety is a big example of that, where you're worried about something that might not even happen, but you've relived it 1,000 times, and worrying about all the different ways it could happen, the different things that could happen, the different transformations, whatever it is. And that's when the emotions, the energy stops and it gets caught in your body. So then the energy in motion just get stuck in your body, and then that's where the problems are. That's when we block our manifestations. That's when we struggle to receive love. That's when we experience chronic pain. That's when we feel stuck in ourselves. And a lot of the time we don't even realize this energy is trapped in our bodies. We don't even realize how many emotions are trapped in our bodies. And the idea is, with this technique, is we're going to identify what those emotions are. We can even identify where they are in the body, and then we can release them through a powerful meditation, and then check again to make sure that they've shifted. And this is what brings us back into feminine flow. This is what brings us back into, the energy of the antelope, where you can shake it off and move on. And use your emotions as your superpower, so that they don't have to hold you back. They don't have to hinder you. They don't have to restrict you. And yeah, we don't want that anymore. So this is what we're all about. And the problem with trapped emotions as well, it goes a little bit deeper. The next layer of trapped emotions is sometimes people, past relationships, old relationships, crushes, best friends, experiences at school, different people can actually plant those emotions that get trapped in our body. So, for example, we have our first crush and we're so in love, and the butterflies in the stomach, and we're smiling and we feel so in love with our first crush. But then they might not feel the same way. So then we experience emotions like heartbreak. We feel maybe unworthy. We feel like we're not good enough. Maybe we feel like we're ugly. We're too this, we're too that, we're that, and we can spiral into that. And it's that relationship or that experience that actually planted those trapped emotions. And the problem is those emotions continue to grow. It's like a seed that was planted. For example, for me, I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, where I had my first marriage. And his name was Michael Knight, and it was ever so amazing. We had all our friends. I think he made me a ring out of a flower, and it was the most beautiful wedding I've ever had. Not really, but it was the most beautiful wedding at that age, and that's what I saw as a wedding. But then the next day, the game changed, and my best friend was the bride. And the next day, Michael Knight married my best friend. It sounds like a silly experience, but when I was tuning into it, my mind believed I was still connected to that person. My mind still believed that I was unworthy, that I was going to be left behind, that I was going to be rejected. And then it anchored those seeds in. And then different relationships where I would feel heartbroken, different relationships where I would feel unworthy, different relationships where I would feel rejected, kind of watered the seed of those trapped emotions. And different people would kind of hook onto it and grow that seed. And then all of a sudden it's this huge oak tree that's holding you back with the roots. And then you wonder why you can't find the soulmate. And you wonder why you can't find the true love. You wonder why the love's around you, but you just can't feel it in your heart space. This is what transforms. This is what happens. And so what we want to do is we want to identify what relationships have kind of planted those seeds and hooked them in. And then once you cut the cords, when you energetically divorce them, when you literally release them, then you can also instantly release the trapped emotions, and you do it from the seed. So you do it from that relationship that planted the seed, and then it just shifts everything else, kind of like a Jenga brick. So you take the bottom brick and the whole trapped emotions, the whole Jenga tower falls down. And so that's kind of what we want to get to. And that's makes the healing even deeper. So initially it was all about trapped emotions, but actually it's the people that are trapping those emotions in our body. We also have to release them so that we can free ourselves into that beautiful feminine flow, so that we can liberate ourselves to live our best life, so that we can receive that unconditional love that we deserve, so we can see the soulmate that's standing right in front of us, but we're just clouded by the self-doubt and the unworthiness and the I'm ugly, I'm not good enough, that sort of thing. And the idea is that we're going to cleanse your body. We're going to shift that energy so that you can really see clearly, so you can manifest with ease, so that you can just free yourself from the burdens, because we carry a lot of them. And using this technique, I'm going to guide you through it. You'll be able to identify the people. You'll be able to identify the trapped emotions. You'll be able to identify where they are in the body. And then through the meditation, we're going to release it. So we're literally going to fire hose it out with us. We're going to shift it. We're going to energetically divorce them. We're going to shift everything. And then we'll be able to muscle test that again and just notice how much that's changed. And then the next step is, what seeds are we going to plant instead? So I'm going to guide you through that experience, and it's going to literally transform everything. And one of the things that I'm learning with all the work that I'm doing, especially with women, is a lot of those trapped emotions, a lot of that trauma is actually held in our womb space. And the womb space is the portal to creation. This is how we bring life into the world. This is how we create our business, how we birth our best world, how we manifest is through the womb manifesting. And when you've got old relationships living there, when you've got trapped emotions stored up there, when you've got all these traumas, when you've got all this heaviness in your womb space, it just kind of shrinks your creative energy. It kind of shrinks your manifesting abilities. It kind of shrinks you into the corner, so that you're trapped in this cycle of self-doubt, cycle of unworthiness. And the reason why the wombs especially hold those trapped emotions and hold those relationships is because wombs are designed for that. They're designed to hold things. They're designed to absorb toxins. They're designed to protect the baby. And so this is where a lot of those energies are stored in women as general. And those seeds of self-doubt, of unworthiness tend to grow in there. And then we forget our superpowers. We forget that we can birth a new world. We forget that we are capable of incredible manifesting abilities. We are capable of using our instincts to shift everything. And the idea is, when we release those trapped emotions, when we let go of those past relationships, it makes space. It makes space for that rebirth of ourselves. It makes space for that confidence. It makes space for that irresistibility. And then you become magnetic to your soulmates. You become magnetic to your dream clients. You become magnetic to every area of your life. And the best part is, as you release all the heaviness from your womb space, you get to align with love. And you get to align with the vibration of receiving, because a lot of women struggle to receive. I was one of them. And actually the love would be all around me, but I felt like I wasn't worthy of it. So I didn't feel loved, even though it was there. And so when you release the unworthiness in your womb, all those trapped emotions, it gives you a space to receive to receive healing, to receive activations, to receive unconditional love, to receive your manifestations and to see it. So that's the idea that we want to create. That's what we want to activate. We want to activate our superpowers. And then we can womb manifest, which is super powerful. And basically you're using the portal of creation that we were given in the way it was supposed to be used to create your best life, to birth yourself, to birth your best life, to attract abundance, to find that way of creating your manifestations. And that is the difference. That is what makes it incredible. So I'm really excited about this because we've been holding these emotions for way too long. We've been holding these relationships for way too long. We've been holding back our power. We've been tied, our hands have been tied behind our back, and we can't step into our true power. So the idea is we're going to release all those trapped emotions, release those relationships, and everything's going to change. So I'm really, really, really excited about sharing this with you because you'll be able to create this space in your womb, in your life, in your energy to really create everything that you desire. And that's what it's all about. That's what makes it incredible. And that is the purpose of this session.